Why do you think Horton Foote is not, his name is just not on the tip of everyone's tongue?
You know, that's the big question. And that's the reason I wanted to make this film. I want that man's name to be on everyone's tongue, as many tongues as I can reach, because he deserves it. You think about his body of work. You think about, this is a man who won 2 Oscars, an Emmy, Pulitzer Prize for Drama, got the National Medal of Arts in 2000 from the President of the United States. And people in Texas sometimes don't even know who he is. And you ask why, and I really don't know the answer to that, other than, number one, he was never a guy he's very quiet man. He's understated. He never tooted his own horn. He never beat his own chest. You know, he just sort of methodically told his stories.
Anything of Horton I like doing. It's the kind of thing you can't force his material as an actor. You can't push it because it's very kind of delicate.
I'd like to express my gratitude to the cast and crew of Tender Mercies.
He worked in theater, he worked in film, and he worked in television. So everybody sort of sees part of his career, but they don't see the whole thing.
The winner is Horton Foote for To Kill a Mockingbird.
He's won so many awards for so many actors, you know, Geraldine Page and Cicely Tyson and Duvall, and you just, you know, it's amazing. And he's one of the greatest writers that people don't know of the 20th century. And gosh, I wish I had that answer. You know, a lot of it could be that his films and his stories and his plays are, they're conceived as these small, intimate stories that people don't really understand how layered they are and how much there's darkness in all of them, and they run the gamut. But people maybe on the outside, they haven't witnessed his work, they haven't experienced it, they don't know what he really is and who he is. And so quite honestly, I don't know why he's not you know, a little bit more well known, but I've spent over a decade making this film for that very reason. And that's what I hope happens, that I turn a few people onto Horton Foote who don't know him.
I'm on the side of those of us who have to struggle in the world. He knew that he was speaking for everybody. The details equal the universal.
What was the hardest part of making this film?
Hardest part of making this film? Raising the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's every time we'd get to this point, then you got to raise the money to get to the next point. So that was difficult. Once Horton agreed to let me film him, the shooting was easy and a breeze and a piece of cake. Oh my gosh, I was doing happy jumps down the yellow brick road every time I got to go put a camera on that man. And I loved him. I loved his hometown. I loved his friends. I loved his, you know, I had been friendly with Horton since 1981. So I was kind of in the mix. I wasn't an outsider, but I loved that part. But then once Horton passed away and we got into I divide this experience, and this film has almost had an act 1, act 2, act 3. Act 2 was terribly difficult for me, because that was the point where I was trying to get into an editing room and start putting together all this footage I had. And I'll be honest, I'm not a documentary filmmaker. I've spent most of my career in the movie business, but I'm in the make-believe world. I did 3 films with David Mamet. I did Spielberg, one movie with Spielberg, Color Purple. I did a movie with Robert Zemeckis called Death Becomes Her. But some of my favorite films are some of the smaller ones. I did Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap is like one of my favorites. And that was such a joy. I get so much credit, street cred, because I did Spinal Tap. But this is my first toe in the documentary world. and that editing process, and also editing a story that you didn't have an exact story. You find that story in the editing. And that was very hard for me to do. And I went down a couple of wrong roads in trying to do that. And it was literally the third time's the charm, where I found the right road and the right team. And then a big part of that, I'll be honest, is I found the confidence in myself that I could do that. I think I was so scared of it that I was waiting for someone to come rescue me with that part. And I finally had to rescue myself.